Quarantini Time, where I get to chat with friends and family while sharing a delicious beverage with them. Tonight's guest and we've been friends since high school, hung out with the same theater nerds, the same group, kind of inseparable throughout all of it. And then she got awesome and moved to California, but became the friend in California that I get to go out and visit when I need one last film to finish up for the Oscars. So, with that, please welcome Angie Reiber. Hi, Angie. Welcome to Quarantini Time.
Hi, Laura. Thank you for asking me to be here.
Of course. What are we drinking tonight?
We are drinking Rosé.
Rosé.
Yes. Mine is my absolute favorite rosé. It's called Lefty Brands. They do a rosé blend, a white blend, and a red blend, and they're all great. So
very nice. I am drinking this fancy bottle. It's Côte des Roses, because I speak the French. But it's a fancy bottle, and I found it at Costco, and it's delicious. That's all I know.
Perfect.
So I know you have the cutest doggy in the world, Ozzy. Is he so happy that you're home right now?
Yes. He is, in fact, sitting in my lap. Here, he'll say hi. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, he's been sitting in on everybody's meetings. He has all the secrets, I don't know. No, but he's been, at first, I think he didn't know what to do with us being home because while we're gone at work all day, he just sleeps. And so with us being home, he felt like he had to be following us around and making sure we were okay. He has the worst FOMO ever. So he was a little bit cranky at first because he wasn't getting his sleep, but now he's like settled into a routine, so he's good.
We're convinced here at this house that the dogs of the world are happy that their humans are home and that the cats of the world are very pissed that their humans are home.
That makes sense to me.
Our cat is very upset and needs her alone time.
Yes.
So you got an Instant Pot ages ago, and then I came out one year to visit you, and you're like, oh yeah, I've never touched that. And I'm like, Angie, it's the greatest thing ever created. Please use this.
Yes, that is exactly how it happened, actually.
So have you used your Instant Pot, and do you now have like a favorite recipe that you make in it?
I do use my Instant Pot. It's funny, I haven't been using it since we've been stuck in the house, but that's mostly because the recipes that I've been making with it tend to be things that I'm like kind of spur of the moment, like, oh, I need to go out and get this and this and this. And so I haven't really like figured out what I've got in the house that I can just do. But my favorite thing to do with the Instant Pot is hard-boiled eggs. And that's I mean, I realize I could just do that on the stove, but it's way more fun in an Instant Pot.
Do you find yourself able to watch like more TV, more movies now, or less? Because even though you're at home, you still have to work.
That is an excellent point. But we have been able to watch a lot more. I think getting that, hour back, I guess, at night where Drew, my husband, would be driving home, or I would be, whatever. The stuff, the commuting time, getting that back has actually freed up our evenings. And so we've been kind of, we've been tackling some movies that have been on the list for a while.
So I should say that you live just north of LA, correct?
Yes.
Northish?
Yeah.
So your commute time is rather long, typically, I would assume.
Mine isn't. I actually work in town. Drew works in Burbank at one of the studios, and yeah, his commute can be anywhere from like 25 minutes with no traffic to, I want to say the worst was like an hour and a half, something like that. Yeah.
Sounds horrible.
Yeah.
So with you guys being able to watch more movies now, is there any rhyme or reason or anything like that to how you're watching them? Because I know both of you are such big movie people. Like, I mean, look at your background there. Obviously, movies are life. So what's your method to choosing movies?
Somewhere toward the beginning of this year, which was like, I don't know, several months ago, right? It's been like at least 17 months since this year started. We were going to challenge ourselves to watch just a bunch of Criterion movies from the Criterion collection. So, because Drew has a bunch of movies he's been wanting me to see, and I'm always like, I don't know, I don't feel like it, I'm not in the mood for that one. And so he was like, fine, here's the deal, here's the agreement. It can be your choice. It has to be a Criterion movie. So we've started working our way through some Criterion movies. While we were doing that, we started a movie called I Married a Witch. But it was one of the two movies that inspired the original Bewitched series. And so we decided that we'd watch the other one that inspired it, which was Bell Book and Candle, with Jimmy Stewart and Kim Novak. And so then that sent us down a whole new rabbit hole of watching movies themed around witches and witchcraft. And so we've kind of got a couple of simultaneous themes going. And then also sometimes just whatever we feel like.
I like it. That's kind of how we did it in high school, when we would just kind of go over to somebody's house and we would watch the most random movie ever created.
Yes.
Like when we went on a quest to watch Plan 9 from Outer Space and stuff like. Do you remember all that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, in fact, I was trying to remember. I want to say I had a memory of watching Heavy Metal at your mom's house.
There's
Does
a good chance.
ring a bell? I feel like it was like Mark Peterson and I don't know, but anyway, that actually popped into my head recently.
Well, have you discovered over this extended period of time at home that you have any like hidden talents, or have you been able to tackle something or learn something new that you've been putting off and you're like, hey, I want to try that someday? Well, now's the time.
We signed up for a meal delivery service actually right before this whole thing kind of became a thing. And boy, was that good timing. But I feel like I've gotten a lot better at certain cooking techniques that I had never done before. And this meal service has me doing them. And I'm like, oh, I just did that. Cool. I can do it. That wasn't so hard. So a lot of like things like that. I've had to get kind of creative with when I was setting up my home office. I turned an old writing desk into a more functional desk. I had to like remove this cross beam of support, and I don't have a saw, so I like used a drill to just like drill a bunch of holes until it was like weak enough for me to like hammer through. It's been a lot of MacGyvering. That's what I've been doing with my quarantine.
That is amazing. I love it. I'm a big fan of James Lipton.
I
love
know.
that guy.
I remember.
We used to watch those. God, I love that man.
Yes.
So I took his questionnaire that he got from Bernard Bevo, who got it from Marcel Proust. I got to give props where props are due. And I took some of his, changed some of them, made some of them COVID-19 friendly. So let's do it. You ready?
I am so ready.
All right. Question number 1. What is your favorite word?
This is like the hardest one, I feel like. I'm gonna go with letter, because I like so many ways that word can be used. I like getting letters in the mail. I like sending letters. I like writing letters. I like actual alphabet letters. I'm a writer.
So what's your least favorite word?
I think so much is in the context of how a word is used. I don't like lazy. I just don't like that I don't like the word. I don't like it used as a descriptor of people. I have ADHD, so I have some personal like triggers around that one. But yeah, I'm going to go with lazy.
So who in the entire world, fictional, non-fictional, alive, dead, would you most like to be in a stay-at-home quarantine with?
I've been having a great time with my husband and my fur child, as you saw earlier. But if it was somebody else, if I could pick anybody else, it would be my grandma Dolly. She died when I was 10, and we had a really special relationship. She was a really smart woman and a really fun woman, and I feel like I wasn't done. I feel like she had more to teach me, so it would be her.
I bet she could teach you how to make fabric face masks and use the Instant Pot.
Probably.
So who would you least like to be in a stay-at-home quarantine with?
The obvious answer is definitely number 2 on my list, pun intended. But I think number 1 person I would not want to be quarantined with, Mitch McConnell.
What is your favorite curse word?
Fuck. Fuck.
My
It's so
favorite-
versatile. I know that that's been a common answer too for your guest, but like, it can be a verb, it can be an adjective, oh my gosh, it can just do so much.
What sound or noise do you love?
I love the sound of thunderstorms, and I miss that so much. There's not a lot of thunderstorms in Southern California.
You get a lot of fires.
That is true. Oh my gosh. That's the worst, because that's one of my favorite smells. Like wood burning fire, growing up in Minnesota, and I'm sure you have that in Colorado as well. That's just such a comforting, like homey smell. It reminds me of going up north in Minnesota to visit my grandparents. If you smell that in California, that's not good. So it's very conflicting.
Well, what sound or noise do you hate?
This is so silly. I hate the sound of Ozzy barking when I leave. Like I hate to be, I'm so selfish this way. I hate to be the last one to leave the house, because if I have to lock him up and leave and I hear him barking, it makes me so sad. And I've definitely canceled plans because I've just been like, nope, can't do it. Can't do it.
That is heartbreaking.
Yeah.
If you could only have one type of food during a stay-at-home quarantine, what would it be?
It would be breakfast food. That's not very specific, but eggs, hash browns, French toast, pancakes, omelets. Give me all the breakfast food. Diner style breakfast food.
Now that you bring that up, that breakfast bowl I had at that
Yes, at Kathy's when you came to visit. Yes. Yeah, folks, if you're ever in Santa Clarita, in California, it has a new name. They're under new ownership, which is a little sad, but they still have the same food. It's called the Neighborista now. Neighborista. Used to be called Kathy's. Best breakfast you'll ever find.
Ridiculously good. What profession other than yours would you like to attempt?
The answer to this used to be massage therapist, but I recently got my certification as a massage therapist. But if it was a profession I'm not currently involved in or educated for, maybe a hairstylist or a therapist. Just kind of want to like help people one-on-one.
So what profession other than yours would you not like to do?
I would not do well with like child services, like social services, like a social worker that has to deal with child abuse or domestic, that kind of. I think that would be way too emotionally draining.
And the last question tonight: if heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
I would like him to say, well, how'd we do?
Very nice. And with that, Angie, thank you so much for joining me tonight on Quarantini Time. It has been a blast.
Thanks, Laura. I'm so happy to see your face.
Yours too, and mine is empty, but cheers.
Cheers.